Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane E-Bites. I'm Watty, that is Mark, and today we are joined by our boy Chaz from the Sheffield Steeldogs. Chaz, thanks for joining us, mate.
No worries, pal. No worries at all.
First of all, well, just great job to you, Brammer and Huey, raising Alex's jersey to the rafters. That must have been a tough day for you all, but yeah,
Yeah,
you boys did him proud for sure.
yeah. It were like I said, it were nice to get obviously asked to do it by Abby and like his family and stuff, but it were a graft for us. It were a special moment, but it was so tough for us three. But then again, it was tough for us all. Like all the boys definitely felt it that game.
How did you go about? I mean, you do it, and then you got to turn around and play an ice hockey game. I'm sure that's the last thing that anybody really wanted to do. But
Yeah.
it was, I don't know, it was going to be tough no matter what. But how did you boys kind of like compose yourselves and go up against one of the strongest teams in the league?
Um, just it was more about doing him proud and like it weren't about us feeling a certain way. It was about doing it for him and kind of what he deserved and just had to kind of pull together as a group, which we are a pretty close group anyway. Just pull together, get each other like through it and come together and get it done for him because at the end of the day, it's kind of what he deserves and what he'd want us all to be doing. So there with that really.
It's a totally classy organisation, and
Yeah.
I would expect nothing else when we heard the news that that jersey would go in the rafters. So shout out to the Steel Dogs, because I know some clubs maybe wouldn't, but Alex was a big part of the Dogs and what they were about, and you know his jersey hanging alongside Paisley's up there at Sheffield is sad, but it's awesome that they took that to remember him.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a no-brainer. His shirt had to go up. We kind of weren't really a discussion that I think anyone needed to have. I kind of thought everyone it were kind of a given. Like what the lad did for us, the club while they were playing for us were remarkable. It were obviously a generational talent. Like it were probably the most skilled individual I've ever seen in
He
terms
was
of
a
his
sick puppy, wasn't he?
yeah, in terms of his individual talents. I know there's been some great players, but Alex were definitely up there, if not the best individual skill player I think I've ever played with.
One of my funniest moments of Alex, well, I've got a couple, but I'll go with this one first. Obviously, Mac, who used to do the podcast with me, fucking chops pucks into fucking squares. We were up watching the Steel Dogs game, and we were up at warm up, and we stood up at the plexi, and Al had the puck, and he was just stick handling for like a minute and 20 seconds. And watching Mac watch him was like watching a Labrador try to fucking read.
No,
Honestly, he
yeah,
didn't know what he was doing, and Alex is just smooth with
yeah,
it. Honestly, you could just see Mac's head going, "Yeah, I don't have that in the locker. No, don't have that in the locker." Like the kid's talent was absolutely exceptional.
yeah, definitely. And obviously, it's nice to hear all like nice things said about him and stuff, but it was such an amazing lad as well. Like obviously on the ice he was something different, but like away from the rink and stuff, like he were an amazing guy, such a nice lad, and like I said before, like one of my closest friends, and I know he was close to a lot of us. Like he got on with everyone, so he was pretty close to every single guy in our team.
Let's move away from Alex. How does it feel to be rocking around in a dog's jersey, but it's orange?
It's different, mate. Yeah,
It's
it is
different.
different.
It's so different.
It's
I can't get my
different.
head around it.
Yeah, the first game, like it was a bit weird. Like we looking around in warm up, thinking, is that Morgs? Is that Belly? What the hell? Like, but nah, it's all right. I think we've kind of got used to it now, and they look all right. Like it's not a horrendous shirt. It's just very similar, obviously, to the Steelers one, but it's still a nice strip.
Um, oh, I can't remember. I think it was after the first preseason game. Someone had like added Huey. Why don't you just copy the whole thing? He was like, "What? What are you even talking about?" Like, as
Yeah,
if yeah. Don't worry, we didn't even ask. We just rocked right out. We just took the Steelers jersey. It is now all under one banner. Have you
Yeah.
noticed any like real changes other than the jerseys so far, or has it kind of been much more of the same for you boys?
Yeah, like it's been pretty similar. It's obviously a bit different with the shirts and stuff, but training's running smoothly just like before. Everything's pretty similar to how it used to be. You know, you still got Ali's face flying around and doing a good job for all us, and Jane and Roger as well. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's enjoyable. I think everyone's enjoying it. Everyone's played well. Everyone seems to be anyway. Everyone's getting along and coming together. So, but then start of season, is so all could happen.
Yeah, I mean it's still early, but have you noticed any differences perhaps in like the relationship between the Steel Dogs and the Steelers? Sometimes it's been frosty over the years. There's been good patches, there's been bad patches. But I think you said maybe I think I was chatting to you the other week. You said you went across and checked out a game, and
Yeah, yeah,
is there a bit more of that going on? A bit more
yeah.
like friendly sort of stuff going on?
Yeah. That relationships, I think, something that's I've never really understood because I've always kind of thought like the Steelers and Steel Dogs should always kind of work together, like as a follow-on team to bring young British lads through, especially. So yeah, like when we weren't playing, a couple of us went over, watched the game. Like a lot of us know they're British players, like like Dowdy and obviously Johnner and Cole and all that. So we just went and supported them guys for a night and chilled out.
Is it regular? Like, do any of the guys get a shout up to train with the Steelers at all?
I think Palms has been on a couple of
Yeah, the
times.
young.
Yeah, I think Palmer's. I think because I think is he at uni? So I think it's like when he's got a bit of free time when he's not studying. I think he's jumped on. So which is good. Obviously, another young lad looking to develop. So it can only be a step forward in that respect.
And this happened very late on, didn't it? So I
Yeah,
imagine next summer when it comes to recruiting for the Steelers and the Dogs and things like that, you will see a kind of different route and avenue where, like you say, that pathway of right, we do have that now, and then
yeah.
off we go. And you might see maybe three or four guys, five guys coming in on that kind of two-way setup.
Yeah, because that were it. Like you just said, that like a last minute thing. Like we didn't even know we were going to be a team at one point. Like we had no idea that it was actually going to go ahead. And obviously, Tony came in and kind of took it over, so we could get a team on the ice in quite a short space of time. Really, so it kind of went from being a bit unsure if we were going to have a team to right, we're in one. Like let's get on it. So I think the player development's only going to get stronger as he gets a bit more like used to it and stuff like that. But yeah, it is looking good and it's exciting. Like this weekend we took a narrow defeat to Milton Keynes. We took it right down to the last minute, missing Yui as well. So we can only kind of add on to what we've done and look forward.
When Shoe's ban up, is it this weekend?
I think he's banned Saturday but back Sunday, which I don't really get what's going on there. Because obviously, if he's banned, then he should be able to play pre-season, or if he's
Yeah,
pre-season, he may as well be banned. It's just not. It's not made sense at all.
yeah, because like those old boys, they need that preseason, especially if you're then gonna
Yeah, 100%.
suspend them for the. Let's say there was two games last year and then four this year. You still let them play the preseason games, or if you're going
Yeah,
to not
yeah.
let them play the preseason, then they have to count for the ban. You can't sit
Well,
them and then they don't
yeah,
count for anything.
you'd have
Yeah.
thought so.
Mark, what's your thoughts on that?
It makes no sense at all. Give them the preseason and then just carry on the league, but because it's a
Yeah,
non-competitive game, but you can't like ban. Yeah, you can't pick and choose.
yeah. It's like he's not banned from a Thursday night practice session, so
Yeah.
it's mad.
Well, the game didn't go to plan, but obviously only the one game for you guys with Swindon
Yeah,
ice rink going down. Big weekend for you this weekend. You're home to Solway and then on the road to Solway, double header against the new kids on the block.
yeah.
How important is it to be like picking up points against Solway and the teams that are ultimately going to be in and amongst you when it comes down to the stretch?
100%. I think we've got to look at this weekend and be thinking maximum points for Port weekend. I think it's not been addressed yet, but I think every guy knows already that this weekend's a 4 point weekend. I know I'm definitely looking to pick 4 points up, and I know pretty much every other guy is. So we've just got to go in on Saturday on home ice, put down a performance and then take it on the road on Sunday.
Did you play up in Solway for pre-season?
Yeah, we're like a bit of a weird pre-season. So we won away in Solway, but lost at home to Solway, and then we beat Hull at home and lost to Hull away. So we won two, lost two in pre-season, which were a bit of a weird one. But I suppose everyone's still finding their feet, aren't they? You know, trying to work them beers off them summer beers. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, those 3 weeks of Marbs all getting after it.
Yeah,
I tell you, one team who's flying right now is the whole Seahawks. They look good in the
yeah,
preseason, but now they're three on the bounce. Turned
yeah.
Peterborough over away last night, turning MK over. They look very good right now.
Yeah. We're speaking to Baz about it overnight, and he just like because I think they were losing as well. Were they two down again?
Like
Yeah,
4-1 down at one stage, I think.
Yeah, I know.
or
Like,
one down with Phantoms.
Savages.
yeah, so they're obviously going right to buzzer and not quitting on it, which he should be doing. So, but yeah, they're always good games against Hull. Even our pre-seasons were a bit got a bit feisty, but that's the games you want to play in it, like your rivalries like that. So we're hoping to put some good shows on against Hull and Leeds, especially I think this year.
Oh yeah, let's get that Yorkshire rivalry going. Sticking with
Yeah,
Solway for a sec,
yeah.
you boys had a little bit of feistiness in the game down in Sheffield. What was the cause of that? And was that just boys getting acquainted after a long summer off?
I think that's what it was. I think everyone
Yeah,
just excited a little bit,
yeah.
a little bit of
Everyone's a
shit,
little
but
horny.
yeah, gloves were off. But unfortunately for me, Pete, our cameraman, has got me and my hair's all over. I was freaking out. Fuck's sake. Everyone's
What?
telling me to put my helmet back on, call me a bald egg and
I bet that's you in that. What was your first impressions of Solway? Obviously, they are the new kids on the block. They brought in Dunbar and Peacock, Mackenzie, Stenton. They've brought in a few elite league boys from up there in Scotland. What was your
that.
opinion on them early doors?
Yeah, they look good. They look a solid team. Like I know Curtis a bit as well, plays it net. He's solid. He's a solid keeper. So I think they'll surprise a few people. They work hard. All three lines can play. And then like you said, they've got some experience there with likes of Peacock and that Mackenzie and what have you. So I think they'll be all right.
How was the overall experience up in Solway, the arena atmosphere and stuff? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, we're decent. They had Madrid on your bar after, so it's a decent
Oh,
away trip.
there you go.
But no,
Well,
it was
it's
decent.
I believe it's a 4 o'clock face off in Solway this Sunday, so we might have to have a little couple of pops with the boys after.
That's it.
So what's the drill for you boys? Is it minibuses? Is it coaches? Is it you traveling in style? Nice big coach, bit cards.
Uh, Yeah, we've got a team bus, so
Perfect.
a lot of guys just chill out, but a lot of guys play cards or just chat shit and just chill out. It's nice, isn't it, when you've been grafting all week just to chill with boys and just catch up. But yeah, buses are pretty sick this year. We've got it's like a U shape at back. You know, it looks a bit like a wild card booth.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And we've got like one of them and like an air fryer and stuff. So boys will be bringing like chickens and that.
yeah. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Traveling in
Uh,
style, boys. I like it.
yeah.
Is that the Steelers bus? Are you boys getting like the same sort of connect as them, or is that something that you boys have had in the past?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's their bus or if it's just one of the bus companies that they use. But yeah, it's pretty steady. It's a nice little setup. It makes like driving down to London and Swindon and all that a little bit easier.
Mm. It's Swindon. I don't know how much attention you boys around the league are paying to that, but this Swindon situation doesn't sound good right now.
Is it in a bad way?
Yeah, it's in a bad way. Like
Yeah.
they got the councillors getting involved, and
Really?
basically, it's not only the plant and the plant room. It's just basically we read it out on here the other day. There's a lot of shit wrong with it, isn't there, Mark?
Is
Yeah,
it,
it's just fucked. Yeah.
But
is it
yeah,
from the weather then, or is it
yeah,
from?
flash
Yeah.
flood.
Floods.
So it was a flash flood, and it's evidently it's annihilated it. But like when we initially thought maybe they would get some games going here like 3-4 weeks after it. Some talk on their websites like December, January.
Really? Are they? I heard some other night that they might be playing out in Milton Keynes.
They've got a game in Milton. They've got a home game playing out of Milton Keynes
Milton Keynes, yeah.
this weekend, I believe. But can't do that all
Right.
year.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's well. If I guess if Oxford have a game, sorry, and who else is down there? Bristol. There's not many rings.
Bristol, yeah.
Yeah, you can't use Basingstoke. There is no Bracknell. Slough have
Yeah.
already got the Bees and Slough. You start running out of options real quick.
Didn't they
I
have the little thing
sorry.
with Cardiff one year? Didn't were they
Yeah,
I
they
know
had
like
a
doing a
training
program with
session.
them?
I know they trained, but again, Cardiff will have junior fixtures. They've got the Fire.
Yeah.
They've got the Devils. It's
Yeah.
you need the fixtures to go in your favour. What's been the overall like objectives the first couple of weeks here of the season? Obviously, a lot of you boys already know each other,
Yeah.
but you do have a new coach. Has the system's changed, or are you kind of just more of the same? What you boys did last year was successful, so
Yeah, a little bit of both. Obviously, Huey's changed some things up, systems wise, like a defensive zone and stuff. He's gone for a different approach. Everyone's buying in, which is obviously good to see. Everyone's on the same page, and it's pretty like straight to the point. If you're playing, you're playing. If you're not playing. So like no one's kind of. Whereas before, it might have been some boys were a little bit comfy in what they were doing. I don't think that's the case this time. I think you turn up, and if you go in, you go in, and if you're not, then you won't be, which is only going to push everyone and get us better, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see how we go. So just hope, obviously, that sticks throughout the season, and we can all pull together and push each other.
What's it like having John O'Phillips in the room?
It's all right to be fair, and he's pretty good.
yeah, it is pretty
Is,
decent.
is he the most is he the most shredded? You got a few guys in there like
I don't
Morgs
know.
that are
Morgs
shredded.
is pretty shredded still.
Yeah, well, he's in good shape to say he's like 45 or whatever old he is. I'll give him that, but yeah, he is good, and his experience just on its own is worth it's worth another import slot in it
Oh
in
yeah.
some respects. So yeah, he's funny and all. He's not as boring as I thought.
what I tell you what, the biggest improvement I thought for you guys this year is having a backup goalie that can actually push Z.
Yeah,
And Dan Crow's decent. He's shown in the preseason early stages like he can be solid at this level. How important is it to have that kind of 1A, 1B this year? I think that would be a game changer for you boys.
yeah, definitely. I think it's something we've kind of missed over the last couple of years. Um, but yeah, he can play, can't he? Like he's been put in at deep end and just chucked in, and he's performed every time. And like even on training as well, like I have a little bit of banter with him, and he's right up for it. Like don't want anything to go in on training, so it's nice. It's I think Dima feels the same as well, that he ain't got to play every single game. He ain't got to play every single minute. If he's I don't know, looking after a bit of a knock, he can maybe have night off or get some treatment. He's not going to stand there for 60 minutes week in, week out.
Especially the older you get, it makes a huge difference. That night off here and there, huge
Oh,
difference.
for sure, yeah, for sure. And I know he he knows that as well. He knows that he's not 20 anymore. He kind of understands that he'll happily miss 10, 15 games to make sure he's right, for the other part of the season.
Well, yeah, once you're getting that home straight and you're in that playoff
Yeah,
push,
that's
it'd be
it.
damn like fresher than he's ever been in the last few
Yeah, yeah,
seasons. Obviously, you boys, that is going to be the objective to get to these finals and to these final four events and things like that.
yeah.
Where do you see yourselves kind of racking up against the other teams? Obviously, you've only seen a couple of them so far, but the results are kind of coming in from left, right, and centre. I mean, the Bees win two at
Oh,
home
yeah.
and away. The
Fourth
Seahawks have
win.
won three, so the teams that were bottom last year have started hot. Like, how do you guys kind of see yourself shaping up against the rest of the league?
I just think we're as good as anyone on his day. But like we've said time after time, and you is pretty big on it. If he does his job, Dima does his job, I do my job. If everybody does their individual job, which could be completely different, we'll beat anyone. It's if we get away from what our job is on that team, that's when it becomes a little bit of an issue. But if you turn up and just do what you've been asked to do and why you are in the team for, we'll beat anyone on it any night, and that's what I do believe. And I quite like it, like at the end of the season when like yeah, fans or people like kind of writing us off or listen, that kind of spurs us on. That's like the team We're not, we're not probably the biggest budgeting league by no stretch, but if everyone comes and does the job, we'll turn teams over.
What's the fans been like for pre-season and for the first game? Have we seen more people coming into the building now that there's this relationship with the Steelers?
Yeah, it were on the weekend. It were pretty busy, which were nice, obviously for the Alex honor and stuff. It were really nice to see everyone down, but we won't. I don't think we'll really know until it kind of kicks off properly, and we can kind of judge it. Because I know if Steelers are away, they may as well come down and watch us because
Yeah,
it's a long way to go, innit? If Steelers are in Cardiff or Dundee or wherever, and we're on doorstep, you may as well just come down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Couldn't
you're going
agree.
to find that, aren't you, with the Steelers fans, the ones that sort of were anti-dogs before the connection. Now
Yeah,
there's a connection. Like you say, if Steelers are playing in Scotland or somewhere, then yeah, they've got the option to support you boys. So it can only help you guys out.
yeah, for sure. And like I said earlier, that's what I think it should have always kind of been like. It's
Hmm.
Yeah.
look, like I've been here 9 years. That's my ninth year, and I've never really seen like a partnership like it kind of what I believe it should have always been, even through junior system. But obviously now we've got that, it's a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's smart. Do you think other elite league teams will be looking to get something similar going with national league teams?
Uh, It'd be good, like in America and Canada, they all do it, don't they? It's like it's well known. It makes sense. It makes sense to watch like these young kids develop into a national league team and then eventually elite league team. It's why these young kids are playing hockey to develop and make that like final step, if you like.
Especially up in Sheffield, their program's always been good for juniors. They've always been spurting out junior after junior after junior.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
if that clear pathway is there, if they don't decide to go to the States or Finland or whatever, they can just stay in Sheffield and go from the Scimitars to the Dogs to the Steelers right the way through.
Yeah. There's an opportunity right there now, and like these young lads now should be looking at it thinking, right, just get my head down, work hard, listen to all experienced guys around them and just go for it. Like there's no stopping them now.
Yeah.
That should be the way it is across the league. I've always said that for
Yeah,
development. When you have that clear path through, it means a junior knows that they can reach the elite league and there is a path and there is actual direction instead of going from rec and being shot around everywhere. If you have that
yeah,
path, it gives kids the inspiration to actually go and achieve.
God,
yeah,
it
for
was
sure, yeah,
cracking my neck.
100%.
Getting old, fellas, getting old. Let's get the old.
I know I've started warming up now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the most foot foam rolling. That is like, what are you on about? I'm like, mate, my back is just full.
yeah. Does Shuey run like a different kind of ship off the ice, or you guys just kind of left your own devices game day and
Yeah,
uh,
it's pretty organized. Like everything's in group. Obviously, we're all in group together. Everything's in. I want you here for this time. I want you there for that time. Where you like be wearing this. Like we're going there after. Like, everything's tight shipped, and I think he's probably come from that background where he's used to it being tight shipped. So I
yeah.
think his way of doing it is kind of how he's like been taught in a way, if you like. So, but yeah, it is good. It's different, but it is good.
You boys had any team bonding sessions early doors yet?
We've had a few beers,
Yeah, a couple of pops
like
for the boys.
yeah, like when we weren't playing overnight, we went to game, went to Steelers game, had a couple of beers and just chilled out. So
Yeah, nice.
good.
That's the other good thing about where you boys are. It is tight, and there is that kind of camaraderie off the ice, and going
Yeah,
for food and going for beers, go to the range, whatever it is. All that does make a difference when it comes to playoff time, and you are
hundred
tight.
percent, 100%. And like when Crosey joined, he's like, "This is mint. It's like I've not been in a team where it's like this," and like all of us kind of find it hard to understand because like that's all we've ever known. Like we do quite a lot of stuff like together away from the rink. Like we'll, I don't know, go to cinema or go and get food, or like we do a lot together. So it's nice that when people come, they recognise that, and because it took us quite a long time to kind of build that togetherness up, and well, we hope it shows on ice.
How's old man Smithy looking after his recovery?
He's just old in it.
Yeah, he's just gonna
He's
is he just fucking miserable right now?
He just loves it, doesn't he? I think he just likes getting out of the house, to be honest.
No kids. Yeah, he doesn't have to look after the kids if he's playing.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just I said again, the older you get, these fucking serious injuries are a lot tougher to come back for. I'm only taking the piss. I mean, Smithy's not exactly ancient. He's still younger than me for sure.
Yeah,
But I just when you've had that injury, how's he looking? Is he kind of back to full fitness?
yeah, I think he's getting there now. He picked me up the other day actually, and he was just on about it, saying like it's nearly been like a year since he's properly
Yeah.
played and like got into it. And he says that he did miss it, being off because it is horrible. Like when I broke my foot over here, just watching and that it's nowhere near the same. Like you're there, but you're not there. Like so, I think he's just glad to be back. And glad to be back in changing room and playing and training and that. So, but yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good player, man, and that's
Yeah,
part of that good core you've got at the back there. How
yeah.
important how important is that decor for what you boys look to achieve this year?
Yeah, it's solid in it. I know I'm going to be biased, but I know a lot of people do think same. It is probably the best decor in league.
Yeah, it
We've
is.
got a bit of a
Yeah.
mixture of all things. Like you've got Morgs and Tim who'll block, I don't know, 10,
Eat
15 shots
pucks.
between them. Yeah. And then you've got obviously JK who can skate with it, make plays, Belly who can move it, and then we've got a couple of young boys as well. Don't forget Awood and all. He'll just try and stick people at face and that.
Some things never change.
So yeah. But now
Oh,
they're solid. They backbone at team, and obviously with Dima behind them, it's to beat us. Teams have got to turn up to beat that deco. They can't just roll in as rink and think they're going to get 2 points.
right, Chaz. We are going to let you go, but I'm going to obviously be seeing you this weekend. We're going to be doing a bit of an in-person interview with Chaz, so you'll be hearing more from him probably on game day. And yeah, hopefully doing a few more bits. But over the weekend, Sheffield and Solway, I'm going to be there for both games. Mark, are you going to check tomorrow? Are you going to do it?
If
Are you going to do it?
if I can get out of work, I'm going to try.
Yeah. Okay. So we might be bringing you content from Czech. We're definitely bringing you content from Sheffield and from Solway, but just make sure you hit that subscribe button, folks. Why choose Hurricane e-bikes? Well, let me tell you, no servicing cost, no need to buy, no interest cost, no long-term agreement, no maintenance cost, no worries because all their products come with a lifetime warranty. Hurricane are in fact the only company within the UK to offer a lifetime warranty on LCD screens, batteries, motors, all components. Guess what? Ordering from Hurricane couldn't be any easier. You just go across to hurricane.ebikes on their website, and all you got to do is literally head to the website, select your bike, add your accessories, confirm your details, and it's on its way over to you. My personal favorites are the M250 mountain bike, the M350 off-road mountain bike, and the big daddy of them all, the RS8 off-road bike. It is a beast. You can get yours from as little as £1.85 per day. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Hurricane e-bikes now and take advantage of some fantastic deals. Okay, our second guest of the episode is Mr. Showbiz himself, John Strange of the Solway Sharks fame. Mate, the first game has been and done. Congratulations. You are officially a National League outfit.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Despite the defeat.
Mate, it's early days yet.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's been mental. It's been absolutely anything that tells you it's not chaos is lying. But we're there and we were on the ice and the doors were open and people came in and it was a brilliant night. Everyone loved it. The game was brilliant. It had everything apart from a win, but you can't win them all. Can't win them all.
No, you can't. And Telford, I know they're one of the teams that nobody really talks about, but they're always strong. They're stacked. They got good depth. They got good young guys. They got wicked veterans.
Mate, they were great. And that game itself was 3 minutes, 2 minutes 50 away from 2-2, and then
A late one.
And then Poor goalie, empty netter, 4-2. 4-2 looks worse than it actually was. But we're two first game in the National, all the new boys, all the boys that, a couple of the boys that come for the Elite League, first game in the National, and I thought they were absolutely brilliant to a man, considering the pressure that was on them. And we were 2 minutes away from overtime, or it going the other way. Fair play to Telford though, they dug in at the end and they came away with a win. So fair play to them.
What was the feedback from the fans? How did they enjoy seeing team play at the national level? Obviously, it's a big step up from the NIHL 1 North.
So we were a wee bit worried actually, because we thought, oh no, we've just come in here and done all this razzmatazz around this club, and then they got beat for the first time in 3 years, competitively. So we thought we were going to get run out of town with the pitchforks, But the fan feedback was amazing. I think, and this is no disrespect to the NIHL 1, I think the sheer speed of the game took everyone by surprise. The fans could not believe just how quick the game is at that level and how competitive it is. You've got to remember, mate, this is a club who were used to winning 10-0, 11-0, 15-4, to then be 2-2 with 2 minutes to go. They very rarely experienced that. So they loved it, though. I think they know good hockey.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And they saw good hockey. So they were buzzing, just like we were.
Well, I've got a bit of an analogy for you, because a couple of weeks back, British Superbikes down at Thruxton, you go there, obviously you got the Superbikes, but then you got the 150s and you got the 450s and you got the 700, you got all these different. That's basically what your fans, you had a good bike in the 150 series, but now you're going up against some real bikes in the big boy series, and that step up, although the guys at the, like you're saying, no disrespect to the guys at the North, there's some good players at that level, but they're not as good as the fucking players at the national level, and it's not even close.
No, even going away down on the Sunday to Romford, just the level is just something else. I think that from what I could tell previously, the national got a wee bit of stick over the years, but what a league! What a league! You just need to look at some of the results. I know it's early, 2 games in, 3 games in, maybe. But the level and the competitiveness in here is just, I am absolutely loving it so far, loving it.
Well, last year proved that anyone could beat anyone on a given night. Saying to Chaz a little bit earlier, the two teams that finished down the bottom last year, Hull and Bracknell, or Hull and the Bees. Well, the Bees started with a 4-point weekend, and Hull 3 out of 3. They got 6 points. Teams like everybody could beat everybody. Obviously, Leeds, Kieran Brown hat trick first game. Of course, was we ever expecting anything else? Not at all. Some things are always going to be the same in the national, and Kieran Brown getting hat tricks is definitely going to be one of the ones that's there pretty much all year round. But the who can beat who on any given night. Chad said something interesting. He said, if everybody turns up and does their job, you'll win more games than you'll lose. And that is to a man, isn't it? John Dunbar's got his job versus Beattie, who's got his job, versus starting goalie versus the backup. Everybody is in there. If everybody could do their job, you're going to win a lot more games than you're going to lose this year.
Aye. And it's a learning curve. Some of the teams in this league have played together for a number of years, changed the roster ever so slightly. Some of them have got a whole roster of new players. We've got a mix of all of that. So it's going to take a bit of time, but everybody has to turn up. That's clear in this league. There's no time for passengers. You have to turn up, and you have to turn up every game for every minute, or else you'll get left behind. That's clear and obvious.
It took one game to get the old 2 a.m. fucking picture on Twitter of getting back from Solway. That folks sulking already. So it's been one game, man. Let's go here. Come on. You knew you were going to get back at 2. You get the bus clock, 2 o'clock, getting back from Solway. Yeah. What time did you boys get back from London for the Raiders game there?
I think I wasn't there. I watched it at home. But
Smart,
I think we got back at about 3:30, 4:45, I think.
Going to be a few of them.
It's late, it is. But hey, listen, thing is, mate, everyone knew about this at the start of the season. So it's not come as a surprise to anyone. And chatting to a few of the boys today, actually, when I was down at the rink, and they were saying the bus journey wasn't actually the Romford one, so kind of the longest one that they'll do. It wasn't actually as long as they expected it to be. You know, they all got to sleep on the way down and they all got to sleep on the way back, and they were fine. They were okay with it. And that's the longest trip that they'll do. So if they're all right with that, then the shorter ones should be even easier.
Yeah, it's just going to be tough for the guys that have got to get up to go work on Monday. But like you said, this is stuff that they've known since the fixtures have come out. These trips are going to happen.
Yeah.
Have you had good feedback from the fans, like from the away teams that maybe came up with the pre-season ones and then the first game of the season of the match night experience?
So far, so good, yeah. I mean, we're still working on the match night experience. There's a lot still to come from us, but I'll probably shout out to the Leeds fans, if I'm honest with you. They brought big numbers. I think they must have had nearly 70 or
awesome.
70, 80 people for a pre-season game.
Yeah, that's legit.
And they brought the noise. They were good fun. They bought lots of beer as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, good. I love that.
But they were interactive. They came up and spoke. A couple of them came up and spoke to me at the end and just said, you know, listen, good luck for the rest of the season. You guys are going to do really well. What a great game that was. Can't wait to come back. And we're very complimentary about the whole setup. A few of them had sent us some private messages on Facebook a couple of days later, just saying to a man, so the players, the staff, the off-ice officials, and even the rink bowl staff as well, they all got complimented on our hospitality. But that's a Scottish thing, you know that.
Yeah. Like, that's just how we roll.
Exactly.
You don't get a choice. You talk about the match night experience. What is the come? What's the next Showbiz move then?
Oh, so what's the next Showbiz move?
I can't remember what you told us last time you were on here. You told us a few bits.
We've got a few things happening at the moment. So we brought Chuck-a-Puck to the rink for the first time. So we've got Finn the shark skating, you know, the mascot out skating, which is brilliant. So that's the Chuck-a-Puck. And then we actually we brought in the juniors, so sort of the under 12s, under 14s, and they during period one break they do a wee 3-on-3, nice. 5-minute running clock. And the fans have loved that as well because it's getting to see the next generation have a wee competitive game against each other.
Bit of exposure for the young lads as well.
Exactly.
You know, you get a wee little hat trick on a little 5 minutes. Everyone's going to be talking about you.
Yep, and we've got a couple of netminders who are quite they're characters, shall we say? So dancing and a wee bit of this and the next thing, you know. So
it's all good fun.
But we're trying to come up with a whole host of things. We've got maybe half a dozen ideas that we're going to attempt to do over the next wee while. But recently, in the last month, mate, it was just about getting everything ready to be able to play. A lot more work than, and I'll be honest with you, a lot more work than I first anticipated. Even chatting to you on, was it the Telford game?
Yeah.
We were messaging each other and I was like, you know, I didn't have 2 minutes to
just flying around
and think about things, but we'll get there. Maybe in the next few weeks when we as owners are not doing as much around the place, we'll be able to concentrate more on the development of the Showbiz style things. But we've got some pretty funky ideas. You just need to wait and see.
Well, it won't be long. I'll be seeing in a couple of days. Sorry, let's rephrase that. Do you envisage like lots of corporate trying to get involved in that, like avenue, businesses coming down to watch the games, you guys getting out and meeting people within the community? Obviously, we always talk about schools and we always talk about scouts and, you know, football clubs and whatever else. But like I know, like from businesses like around Bracknell when we were there, we had fucking 80 people come from an office one day, and it was wild.
So yeah, we've started doing that already, if I'm honest with you. So that's the beauty of having Peaks in Dunbar and the roles that they're in, because they're not just players. So they're out in the community as well. So they were at, and they won't mind me saying this, being that they're both well into their 30s, or rather, Craig is. They were at the Freshers Week at the so they were meeting all the students and talking to them about hockey and giving out the odd wee ticket here and there and whatnot. And
right idea.
We had quite a lot of the students turn up for the Telford game, actually, which was great to see. But moving forward, then I think this coming Thursday, next Thursday rather, we're at the Dumfries and Galloway Business Expo thing.
Okay.
We've got a stall there, so the boys will be there in their gear, and we'll have some merch kicking about, and we'll be telling the world, well, not the world, but we'll be telling everyone in Dumfries and Galloway, by the way, this is ice hockey. This is what it's all about. Get along, get a look at it, and there's a presence there. And from that comes chatting to other businesses as well about getting them along. And like I said, once David and Phil and I are not as hands-on on game night, we'll be able to do the corporate side a little bit more and the entertaining of clients, etc., to bring more sponsors in for the rest of this year and next year and next year and next year.
Yeah, because if you can get good sponsorships who are happy to work with the club. I mean, back in the day for Basingstoke, we were Weller for as long as I can remember. That was Weller was like the biggest hair brand product on the market. But they was with Basingstoke for, I don't even know. It's got to be over a decade.
Well, mate, we had Hercules along, our title sponsor. So they brought, I think, 13 of their friends and guests along to the Telford game. They were the match night sponsor that night as well. And they won't mind me saying this, they absolutely loved it. They had an amazing time. They had an amazing night. They were messaging us after it and the following day, just saying, what a show you guys put on, and thank you for looking after us. It was, they were made to feel not wanted as such, because obviously they're wanted, but they were just made to feel the way they should feel as a sponsor, as a title sponsor. And we thank them, obviously. We always thank them for investing in us and believing in us. But we also owe them a good night as well when they come. And it's our duty to make sure they have a good night. And they did, and they loved it. And everyone will be like that when they come along.
And that's what we want. I think ultimately what we always talked about missing as players is the away trip to Scotland. You get up there. Sometimes you might be lucky enough to get to stay in a hotel. But if you're a fan, you can go up and you can make a wicked weekend of it. You can carry on, go up the West Coast, go and do some stuff in Glasgow, go up to wherever you want.
Exactly.
There's real good connections. And I think if the more people hear about that sort of great match night, feel very welcome, you'll start to get more and more people travelling to Solway as the season goes on, I'm sure.
Oh, 100% we will. That's the thing. It's about bringing new people to the game, as well as existing folk that want to travel,
How's that gone so far in terms of, since I last spoke to you, like getting more interest in the local community?
It's went really well, if I'm honest with you. We're still really, really, really early on in the whole journey. But the local businesses, the local cafes, the local chippy, all that kind of stuff, that people are now asking, what's there's a wee bit of nosiness going on, because obviously there's a lot of noise about the place, about us, and the amount of people, when Leeds came up, a bunch of their 20, 30 of their fans descended upon a local eatery, and the woman running it was like, where did all these Leeds people come from?
Yeah.
She didn't realise that, well, this is what's going to happen now in this National League. You're going to have a big group of away fans that are going to come up. Obviously, we've now got a fully functioning cafe up the stairs as well. So next time you come Leeds and any other, get upstairs and we'll feed you.
You get a rolling slice or what?
You can get a roll slice if you want, mate. You need to be there early for that, though. I think that stops about 11. So
yeah, I'll be there before 11:30. Don't you worry. That's literally the first thing I'm doing when I get to Scotland.
I don't know if the Madry will be on sale by 11:30, though, mate.
I don't even want a Madry. I just want a couple of rolls and slice. In fact, that's what Chaz as well said earlier. He goes, yeah, it was great up in Solway. They had the Madry on after the game. He's like, so I think the Steeldogs lads approved of your beer choice.
Yes, they did. It was funny because I saw them all, because obviously the away dressing room is right down the bottom of the rink. So they all walked past me. I was doing the media, the sort of orchestrating the media interviews at the end, and they all kind of traipsed past me, and I was like, where are they going? And then 5 minutes later, they all came down.
Yeah.
Have yourself, boys, on you go.
That's what we want, and because that's kind of like how it used to be when I played in EPL. So if we were up at you, we would come up and have a couple of pints. All the boys would come up from both teams. You'd shoot the shit. You'd get your banter, and then the next time you're down, you just come into our bar. You have a couple of beer. But all that meant was, if the players were doing that, the fucking fans stick around.
that's
And if
one
the
thing
fans stick around, they put their hand in their pocket and buy pints.
So we've tried to do this. You talked about the match night experience. What we do now, and it's set in place, and it will happen every single game, is after the game we have a small media area set up upstairs in the bar, and Andy Glenn, who does Sharps TV, he interviews 3 players. Now it's a short 3-4 minute interview per player, but it's upstairs in the bar with the fans. It's mic'd up, it's done properly, and it means that the fans can, after the game, can go upstairs to the bar, can sit down, can listen to the interviews.
Love that.
If the players want to mingle and chat to them, they'll mingle and chat to them. You know, we don't put any pressure on the players to go and talk to the fans at the end of a game, because, well, if you got beat, maybe you don't want to talk to somebody.
No, sometimes you don't.
But it keeps people in the rink after the game,
Of course it
which
does, yeah.
helps with the cafe. It helps with the bar. You know, you don't have to drink a pint of Madri. You can go up and get yourself a lemonade if you
Just
want.
get a juice, yeah.
You know, we'll have 3 people interviewed after every single game. 3 of the boys will be interviewed. Now that'll also include Grubby and JT, and whatnot, and Peaks and Dunbar, as well as the players. But it gives the fans that little bit of unique insight right after a game. You know, they're not having to wait until later on that night or the following day when they see the match report or
the old YouTube highlights. Yeah.
Getting a raw, just out the shower, happy or raging.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for the player. Don't get me wrong. The other night, the Tilford game, the boys were gutted. They really were gutted. But, you know,
good job. There's another 53 games to go, then, isn't it?
Exactly. But they put on the big boy pants and came up the stairs and did the interviews, and they were brilliant. You know, and I have to say this, and I know they'll all watch it, but what a group of guys we've got. To a man, they are apps, from the young rookies right all the way up to Grandad Barry McKenzie. They are.
I think he's a month younger than me, you fucker.
Listen, you're all younger than me, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Don't know, look, I got the old salt. You can see it now on the YouTube.
Listen, at least you've still got it, mate. Look,
yeah, well, I mean, I'll take that. I will take the fact that it's just going grey and not disappearing just now. But yeah, the whole kind of reaction from the teams that have played against you so far seems to be that you're a good organization, a good team with good organization, good depth. I think it's going to be for you when you just get that confidence, you get on a little roll, and I think that's when you're going to be dangerous.
I think it's difficult for me to say. I mean, I'm not a player and I'm not a coach, so I can only go on what I see and what I hear from the players and from the coaching staff. We're nearly there. We are this close to opening up and really, you know, if you look at the shot, and I mean, I know statistics sometimes aren't the be on and end all, but if you look at the shot count on almost every one of our pre-season and 2 competitive games, we've outshot the other team. So one day, those 6 shots that hit the post in the bar are going to go in.
Yeah, get the bounces.
It's a different game, you know.
I think as well, if you can turn that place into a bit of a fortress up there, ram it out like we spoke about previously, get consistency at home and make it just, you know, oh, fuck, we got to get on the bus, we got to go up there. It's going to be loud, it's going to be hard, it's going to be whatever. And just make teams not want to come there and play. Make it miserable to play against.
Of course. I mean, it's hard for me because obviously, I like everybody to be smiling and happy, and I want to time, but, you know, and I'll be happy to do that. You know, the Leeds game, Matt Haywood came up at the end, you know, and I was like, but he's a nice guy, and he, you know, shook my hand and he said, listen, you guys are right up there. You guys are going to be okay this season, you know. I was like, you're damn right, because the next time we play you, you're getting done in.
Obviously, you must know Matty pretty well from his time at Glasgow, right?
I don't know him too well personally, if I'm honest with you, but I know him well enough.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's a good guy, and fair play to him. He came up and he did an interview for Sharks TV as well, which is really good. And that's something that the opposing teams are going to get used to. It happens anyway, but, you know, we're going to want a representative from them to come and give us their insight to the game, just to keep our fans engaged as well. And Matt was happy to do that. And, he was complimentary towards the team, towards us as owners, obviously known us from the clan and stuff like that. So, he's a good ambassador for the sport, as Haywood.
Yeah, definitely. Great lad. And he's one that, I mean, it would make sense if he eventually did sign to become a Shark, in my opinion. Obviously, if he's still based in Glasgow, it's fucking damn sight closer than Leeds. But, like there is this first year, and then I think next year recruitment is going to be a hell of a lot different if you're Grubby and JT next year, because all of a sudden you're going to get all these sponsors that are happy, and the guys that were there this year that really enjoyed being there, and the fan base grows, and all of a sudden become a real attractive place to play.
100%. And if I'm honest with you, although technically recruitment is not up to us as owners, we've already started thinking about it for next year already.
Yeah.
And we've already started getting a wee plan together for what we're looking at and how we're going to work it and who we're going to speak to and whatnot. So, we're already thinking long term.
That's what we want to hear, because I think many clubs could go down that route and really cement their club's kind of legacy by doing that, by planning 2, 3, 4 years, however many. We know about this kid that's in the under 15s. He could maybe fill a slot there in 2 years, and right, this import's getting 2 years older. Then maybe we look at bringing it, and you can know where you're going, and you can keep the bits you're happy with, and you can change the bits that need to be changed. And I think that might be something a little bit different that Solway aren't used to. And I'm not saying that you guys will have to make changes, because it might go great. Like you said, you've got a great bunch of guys. Results might go great. You might not need to make changes, but at this level, changes do get made if results don't happen. And I think that'll be something that will be a little bit different to what the Sharks have been used to, but they've just been spanking everybody for the best part of a decade over there.
Listen, mate, make no bones about this. If changes need to be made next week, they'll be made. We're not messing about. So if something needs to change, it'll change. No, we hope that that's not the case. We hope that the team continues to gel and that they do well and everything goes according to plan. But you never know. It might not happen. It might go south. We might lose another 4 or 5 in the trot. And if that does happen, changes will be made. We're not messing about. Changes will be made.
And see, if I'm a player and I'm listening to this right now, I like that. I like that, because I know if I turn up and do my job, then I'm not going anywhere. So then everyone could look at that and go, right, we all need to turn up and do our jobs. Otherwise, some of us are fucking out on the way out the door.
Look, mate, all of the players we've currently got are committed. They're all 100% committed to the journey, to the strategy, to the cause, to the core beliefs of the club. But if they don't turn up and they don't perform, this is a performance-related business that we now run.
Yeah.
If you don't perform, you will be given every opportunity to perform. But if it doesn't work, then Grubby will make the decision and that person will be moved on and replaced. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because players have our support. We have given them everything they need to be successful, and we will continue to do that. But life sometimes has a funny habit of taking a twist on you, doesn't it?
Oh, of course. And I'm just the reason I was talking. I'm not wishing anyone's job away by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But mate, I've been gassed from my share of teams at that level. It happens. Like, it happens. One day you're the fucking hero, the next day you're putting your kit in a bag, chucking your sweats in a rucksack, and you're walking out the locker room door, and that's it. Never to be back. But that leaves opportunities everywhere. So it's just interesting for the Sharks fans, because there is going to be a lot of first and a lot of new stuff with this being ultimately, it is a professional league, no matter what way you dress it up. It's close to it as, all right, guys aren't getting full-time salaries, but the guys are making okay money, and they're still getting on the ice 2-3 nights a week, and they're getting a couple of games. This is near on professional with everything that goes with it, social media, merchandise, marketing. It's good hockey.
It's brilliant hockey. And mate, it is a professional league. Don't care what anyone says. I hate the phrase semi-pro. There's no such thing.
Stupid.
Get that to, it's a professional league. These guys are treated like professional athletes, and we expect them to perform like professional athletes. Yes, some of them have full-time jobs, that's fine. So what? You can still be a professional hockey player and have a full-time job. Look at the hundreds of people that currently do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So semi-pro, let's just not even go down that route. That's a professional league. Clearly, from what I can see so far,
Yeah.
that's a professional league.
I mean, there is obviously differences between this and the Elite League, and between the Elite League and the DEL, and between all the different professional leagues. But in comparison to NIHL 2, NIHL 1, and SIHA, like the difference in professionalism with the national is is night and day.
Totally, completely different. I nearly say different ball game. You know what I mean? Completely different setup and way of working. It couldn't be any more professional, and that goes from the top of every club to the bottom of every club. All the other owners are all professionals. All the players are professional. You know, even your kit man and your physio and stuff like that are all professional within their own right, and they come together as a collective to be a professional unit. So, aye.
What if I get time whilst I'm in Solway, what should be the one thing I should do in Dumfries away from the rink, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, it's pretty easy. It's a 4 p.m. face-off. Which pub should I go to, basically?
Listen, you've not been listening to me. When the game finishes, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go upstairs and do all my bits. Yeah.
And then after that, I, as the old man, will go out, and the young team, including yourself, can go into not one, but 2 nightclubs in Dumfries.
Oh, really? Don't know if I got 2 nightclubs in the tank. I don't know if I got 2. I'm cracking on, mate.
Sure, the boys will look after you.
Well, see, when we did the charity game with Chaz and Norm, we went out in Windsor. Norm's like 52. It's like, boys, let's go in here. Me and Chaz is fucking 9 years younger than me. We're like, no, absolutely not. Everyone was 21 years old, bouncing around, and that. I was like, I want no part of that. I think my clubbing days are behind me. Maybe just get a nice pint of draft somewhere, and a chat to some of the boys, which I'm looking forward to. How's my boy Mason settling in up there?
Okay, he's a class act. He's a class act. He's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I like about him is he has a big mouth, but he has a big game to back that mouth up. And he is destroying. A couple of the fans have nicknamed him the Destroyer. He's brilliant. He's funny, but he's also cool. He thinks he's the man, you know.
Yeah.
But he's good. He's good fun. He's good fun. We actually we made a couple of not to single any player out because they'll all get stuff like this done, but we made some t-shirts because he came up with the craziest phrase on an interview a couple of weeks ago. He was asked, describe yourself as a player? And he went, crash, bang, pop, a bit like a bowl of Rice Krispies. I just like...
Love it.
So we got a couple of t-shirts made with his silhouette face on it. And
that's great.
Crash, bang, pop. And a couple of fans have bought into that, and some of them have bought it. And I rocked it around the rink at one point as well. So
that's great news. Love that
sort of content like that is priceless, and he is priceless with that kind of stuff.
What about the other new lads? How have they settled in?
So the imports have settled in really well. Nolan and Olivier they're gentlemen. They're so nice, and they're cracking. But I think Nolan might have scored in every game.
Oh, really?
I think he has actually. If he hasn't, it's maybe one. He's scored in every game. They're fitting in really well. Their style of hockey suits us really well. They skate beautifully, and they're lovely guys as well. And as you'll see, we get all the guys doing little videos and stuff like that, which some of them hate doing it. But it's like,
next guy up, tough shit. Yeah. It is. It's like, next guy up, your turn. Let's go. Whether you like it or not, tough shit.
They've settled in really well. Their partners are over.
Okay, that's good as well.
Which is really nice, And some of the other boys, obviously, Mason's come up. Curtis has come up from Sheffield. He's settled in really well. He's sharing an apartment with Callum McGill.
Yeah.
and Kel Beattie, he's sharing an apartment with Mason, so he's used to Solway anyway, but he seems to have settled in quite well. And the other boys are just they're local lads anyway, so there's no settling in required. They're just absolutely loving this new style of hockey. I was talking to Struan today, Struan Tonner, Capitano. And I said, how are you finding it? You know, that many years at the level you were at. And he was just like, this is just fantastic.
Should have stepped up years ago.
100%. We Lewis Young as well.
Yeah.
Chatting to him after the Leeds game, he got man of the match, and he came off and we got beat, and he came off and he had the biggest smile on his face. And I was like, you all right? And he's like, John, that is the best night of hockey I've ever had.
Playing against Kieran Brown and the boys.
Play that level of hockey and embrace it and be bloody good as well. I mean, he got man of the match that night, Lewis. In fact, he also got man of the match in Romford as well, Lewis Young. Nice. So he's doing really, really well, and he's loving it. Even old Johnny Dunbar, he's smiling when he's on the ice as well, which is good to see.
I'm looking forward to seeing him play at that level. Right, John, I promised you half an hour, and I've took way longer as per usual. But we'll be doing more content this weekend for the Solway Sharks versus the Sheffield Steeldogs, and for the Sheffield Steeldogs at home versus the Solway Sharks. Both games going to be there. Hopefully there's going to be a little bit of niggle, a little bit of to-in and throw-in, a couple of close games, and some brilliant content for you. If you love what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, do all the usual stuff that helps the algorithm. John, I should be seeing you hopefully in Sheffield, but if not in Solway. And you guys, I'll be seeing you next week for another vlog on the road trip episode 2. Peace.